I always say Sridhar bats like Sheva, and I'm more like the Dravid mode. So I'm more like the team process, look at where the future is going. As a country, there is a lot more talent outside of the cities. Now I know like a lot of GCCs are opening in tier 2 towns. But then these talent have to be trained. It's not like they are easily pluckable. So we always say you hire for the next year.
Any business, regardless of size, where they are, what vertical they are in, unless you don't use AI, you are going to be left far, far behind. That is my conviction today.
Okay.
But I think this layoff and AI mixing, we are not very sure. But as a company, what we have done is we have been very wary about hiring developers. I mean, you cannot guarantee success, but you can put in the work, you can put in the effort so that you deserve the success. So that is the kind of thing that we work on.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vijay Srinivas, and this is C-Suite Conversation. In this episode, we're joined by the co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Zoho Corp. Also with him is the Chief Executive Officer of ManageEngine. Shailesh, Davey, Rajesh, Ganesan, thank you very much indeed for your time. Wonderful to have you on this podcast. Let me begin with Shailesh first. You've just taken over as the Chief Executive Officer of Zoho Corp after Sridhar Vembu's defining tenure there. What does leadership transition mean for you personally, and what are the kind of transformation are you anticipating for under your watch at Zoho Corp?
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks for having us here. Nice question. First question to go. So Sridhar has been there as CEO for more than 20 years, and most of our initial growth kind of happened under his leadership, and now this is the next gen of leadership taking over. That kind of shows the depth in leadership that we have. That is the first point. With respect to my style, actually, a lot of people ask me, and I kind of liken it to a cricket analogy, right? So
that's right, yeah.
I always say Sridhar bats like Sheva, and I'm more like the Dravid mode. So I'm more like the team process, look at where the future is going. So it's not like I jump in something and do suddenly. I kind of plan it. I look at it at a more longer time frame. So that is the way I am. And with respect to what kind of change it is. So basically most of us have worked together, me and Rajesh, like we have worked together for some 23 years, or now it's 2025. So
28 years.
28 years, yeah. So so we have worked together for 28 years. So we know each other's strength and weakness and whatever, right? It's more like working with friends. So same is the case with money also. So given all this, we know the leadership well, and we know the strength and weakness of each other, and we know here we are able to complement each other. So it's more like a more smoother than what you would typically see outside, I presume. And with respect to the big focus areas, so we have come a long way. So we are more than $1 billion in revenue. So now we need to see how to launch the next set of growth. And one of the big growth areas for us is like we are going to the mid and the large enterprise. So those call for a different kind of requirements, different kinds of anticipations on the organization. So that would be a big focus area. And now every time we cannot call ourselves a startup, right? But we always say we are a startup which is like 25 years old, right? So always 16 at heart kind of thing. But then now that there are a lot more expectations by the customers on the organization. So all this would be some of the focus areas in the next couple of years, I see.
You've spent about close to 2 decades there at ManageEngine, right? So, what's the most defining moment in your career in terms of leadership at ManageEngine?
So defining moment as a leader?
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
So because you've been an engineer and now the Chief Executive Officer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, being an engineer was good. Wish it continued. Not that this is not good, but you ask about one particular defining moment. It's very hard to define because, like we spoke, the company is 28 years old. ManageEngine itself is 23 years old. So I'm also not a kind of person who sits under a tree, get enlightenment, all of that. So a person who evolved, started as an engineer. So you be a programmer, you be a developer for 3 years. You want to try something else, right? So the environment inside the company allowed that, right? So the autonomy. I wanted to try my hand with documentation, right? So product management, customer support, marketing. I've written copies for the website to help documentation. Recently, I spend a lot of time with the sales teams, right? So there has been no one particular defining moment. It is getting into the details, knowing what it takes, how things happen. This deep understanding is very important for a leader, right? So I pick these traits from people that I get inspired from, whether it is Shailesh or Sridhar or Kumar Vembu. Also look up to people like Satya Nadella. They talk about this idea of empathy, right? How you put yourself aside and think like people in the team, how they think. A person joining ManageEngine today or Zoho Corp today, they are not joining a startup with 20 people.
That's
They
right.
come with an expectation of a 18,000 people company, $1 billion. Their aspirations are different. How am I able to work with them as opposed to someone who has spent 27 years with me? So that empathy is what I've understood, still trying to develop. Interestingly, even yesterday I was telling a teammate of mine, right? So when you talk one-on-one, the conversation tone is different. When you are in a meeting, the conversation tone is entirely different. When they send you a text message in a group, it's different. When they send it personally, it's different. People read it in their own tone when 10 people message them, right? That's
right.
not empathy. When you read a text message, when they post it on a group, you should read what they meant. When they send it one-on-one, you should read it in their tone what they meant. So empathy, I would say, is one trait I try hard to develop and follow, among many other things that you need as a leader.
Okay. So I also want to talk about the culture of the company there. Zoho is kind of quite unique on that aspect. Very deeply, sort of culturally rooted. Tamil particularly there. Zoho, Sridhar himself coming from Tenkasi. So, you've been expanding into the rural areas and you've been betting big on these rural areas. So what is it that sort of made you bet high on these areas? What about the talent pool that you get? Are you able to train those folks as much as equivalent to what's happening in the bigger cities like Chennai or Bengaluru for that matter?
So, see, one of the defining traits I would say as a company is kind of serve the underserved. That is one underlying philosophy. Don't rush into places where everybody else is rushing. So, otherwise, you'll be again competing with them. So, be it talent, be it how you make the product, be it how you kind of market it. So, in all these cases, we kind of define the ground in which we want to play. So, that is the way I look at it. So, if you were to look at talent, it is a combination of both necessity as well as this underlying trait. So necessity, like initially when we started, so people wouldn't know our name also, right? So they would think twice before joining. So I'm talking about 96, 97. Now it's a different game. So people know about Zoho. So now you have to be doubly careful. We don't want people to join because Zoho is a cool name. So we want people to join because they have to join a company and make it great, not join a great company, right? As somebody was saying.
That's right.
So that is very important. So we always both as a necessity and as a way of defining something back to the society or giving something back to society. Right from the beginning, we used to go to a lot of tier 2, tier 3 colleges, and then we used to have all our interviews in Tamil, so that it makes Tamil, Hindi, Tamil, Hindi, Telugu, Malayalam, whichever makes the person sitting on the opposite side more comfortable. And so that's how we started. And then we also started the Zoho schools in 2004. So where we took people from disadvantaged backgrounds to begin with. And we called it a meaningful alternative to college education. So where we train them, we give them stipend, and then we absorb them in workforce. So one thing is, I believe as a country there is a lot more talent outside of the cities. Now I know like a lot of GCCs are opening in tier 2 towns, right? So then tier 3, so like that. So that is one thing, there's a lot of talent. But then these talent have to be trained. It's not like they are easily pluckable. So we always say you hire for the next year. Means you take them, you put them in the team, you train them for 3 to 6 months, and then you do some small tools or small features in the product, and then slowly you evolve them to the next thing. Doesn't matter which function, marketing, support, everywhere you start, you train them, do the small things, get it reviewed, and then jump into the bigger thing. So this whole thing is like a year's time, right? And what that also sets is somebody, even for the person who is coming in, first of all, okay, they have this joy that, okay, somebody has trusted me and taken me in, and they see their own leads working with them and helping them to learn things. So this also creates a bond, right? Okay. So all this coupled together also helps in retention. it also meets a bigger goal of giving something back to the society. And more importantly, at least the employees having a choice now, right? See, before and all, if you had to go and work in tech company, that would mean leaving your town or city or whatever and going to some other place. Now we are able to at least give a choice. I'm not saying everybody has to be in the place where they are from, but at least now there is a choice. If they want to stay there, there is a possibility. If they want to move out to Bangalore or Mumbai or something, even that possibility exists. So that's how I think we have evolved over time.
Okay, so Rajesh, AI is arguably the buzzword of the decade.
Right.
But tell me, so we are also being told that we're getting into an AI revolution of sorts.
Right.
But beyond the hype, what's the most realistic, practical sort of AI's impact on enterprise IT and in terms of productivity tools?
Okay, I mean, it is the real hype today. But what I've seen, our own consumption of AI, we are also building AI technology, that is on one side. Our own consumption of AI, my conversation with customers around the world, right? So it has moved beyond just being hype. It has started delivering value. In our personal lives, it's absolutely clear, right? So we use AI on a daily basis. We rely on it.
That's right.
It's a lot more accurate, very useful, makes us very productive. You apply it in the context of business, you have a lot more rigidity, right? Because lot more at stake, right? So it's no longer for personal use. You have to comply with various regulations. You have to worry about cybersecurity, privacy, all of that. That is where people are still not able to take their step forward in a pace that they would want, right? But in terms of a lot of technology functions today, we are a technology company, meaning we develop technology, we write a lot of software. And to support that, we do a lot of functions, right? So it starts from your marketing function, sales function, legal function. In all these functions, we have started using AI, and it is already demonstrating value to the extent of saving 30%. So is that a valid number?
Yeah.
So, and the promise is it is going to make it 50, 60 very soon. So what I see around the customers, enterprise IT, so they know the value. What is stopping them? The roadblocks is the lack of clarity about how do I apply it in the context of business and still stay compliant. So, for example, in our own company, we are debating, having discussions with our legal team. We are going to soon have a European Union AI Act, right?
Okay.
They are going to bring a lot of regulations into how AI is applied in the context of business, right? So once this comes in, it is going to ask you to demonstrate your use of AI is ethical. Your use of AI doesn't have any bias. Your use of AI doesn't breach any privacy of any employees. How do you do this, right? So on one side, you have all the powers of AI, and then we talk about guardrails positively or roadblocks negatively. So this is still in a limbo, Vijay, right? But I am an optimist, technology optimist.
Okay.
We will be using AI a lot, and we will find solutions for all these problems. And any business, regardless of size, where they are, what vertical they are in, unless you don't use AI, you are going to be left far, far behind. That is my conviction today.
Okay, so Shailesh, a follow-up question on that. Where do you see AI's impact on the SaaS businesses, particularly because the heavyweights of SaaS, say for example, Salesforce is laid off a lot of people. Obviously, no second thoughts that there has been a significant productivity gains. But do you think that SaaS is going to go through a sort of a great disruption of sorts, and there could be layoffs potentially because agentic AI wave and all that when it comes in?
So first of all, I want to remove this question of layoff. Okay.
Okay.
So I actually see a lot of time. I would say I believe there has been some overhiring in 22, 23 during the COVID times. So it's very difficult to differentiate between what is the layoff happening because of that overhiring, what is happening because of AI. Okay. But I think let's look at from a SaaS perspective. There are some 3-4 functions within a SaaS company. I'm not looking at the customer. First, I'm looking at the manufacturing. That is the company that is our vendor that is producing the SaaS software, like Zoho or Salesforce or whomsoever, right? So obviously, first you're going to use it for your own functions. So coding, testing, these are all areas from which the SaaS software is coming. So there's a lot of AI that is being used. We also use it a lot, and we are measuring how much amount of gains that we are getting. Like I myself use it on a daily basis. I know for learning something, or for explaining something that is already there, it actually provides a lot of value. Now assume you are generating something, like you are writing some new feature in the product or something. At the end of the day, even if it generates, for it to go into production, you need to know the code well. Because tomorrow at the production, if there is a problem, you suddenly can't throw the code back to AI and ask them to fix the bug, because it might go and touch places that you don't need to. So you need to understand what is there. So what we have seen, like as Rajesh was mentioning, even in coding, it's like a 20 to 30% efficiency that we gain there. But then it comes at a cost. What I have seen personally for me itself, before and all, if I had to learn something, I would search in some 10 places, go and read all the documents, know the different opinions, and I would have spent at least 2 hours reading all those. And now it all comes very nicely in a chat interface. But then in another 2 days, I'm forgetting it. So what I am doing is, if I read something, then I at least do a POC out of it. I do a proof of concept. That's like doing. So learning alone is not enough. So if you don't want to forget it, you end up doing it. So at the end of the day, if you end up doing it, the amount of time spent may be 60% of what was before. But the different opinions that you got, like reading some 10 different things, now that has been curtailed, right? So that is one interesting aspect I would see. But coming to your question, how would this affect the SaaS industry? Today we ourselves use it for marketing, we use it for coding, we use it for support and all that. But I think this layoff and AI mixing, we are not very sure. But as a company, what we have done is we have been very wary about hiring developers. But at the same time, we are hiring a lot more people in the customer facing function, because we believe understanding the customer and providing value, that is still a human connection that is needed. So there's a lot more focus on that area. But from a development, production, testing perspective, like we are being very wary about overhiring.
Okay.
So good to know, Shailesh. You are forgetting not because of the age, but because of AI.
Okay. So, Rajesh, in the IT management, the threat landscape is quite
Right.
changing, right? So, do you think enterprises are sort of underestimating the internal threats while paying attention to the sort of hackers and so on? What are your customers and clients saying?
Yeah. I mean, you use the word underestimate. I don't think that is the case. So let's take India as an example. We have had some good regulations over the last 5 years. The digital maturity is quite high. We have specific roles that are required to be played in such companies. Like, say, for example, there is a chief information security officer in all the companies today.
That's right.
They are aware of the possibilities of insider threats. They are aware, but one thing what I see is how the company treats cybersecurity, right? Like how we treat our own personal health. They know about everything, what could happen, but they are in denial. This wouldn't happen to us, right?
Okay.
So more than underestimating, I see a lot more denial, because when it comes to the stakeholders, their priority.
But denial is a stronger word than underestimating.
Maybe. You are right, actually. It's a more dangerous situation.
That's right.
When you are underestimating, or when you don't even know about anything, that could be a good excuse. That is exactly the point. Now companies know, and still they are not able to convince their management, their teams, right? To be very honest, it was a struggle even inside Zoho Corp, right? So
Okay.
to educate to every person inside the company that security is important. We have made a lot of progress, and this is the challenge I see with a lot of companies. Because we are a global business, we understand regulations, we understand security. We ourselves build cybersecurity products. The situation is a little different. When I speak to enterprises that are in different verticals, say for example, manufacturing or hospitality, the CISOs know everything, right? That is exactly the point. They don't underestimate, they know what to do, they absolutely are clear about what they need to comply with, but oftentimes they don't get the budget, they don't get the backing, nor the talent, right? So these are the challenges really today,
Okay.
than underestimating.
Shailesh, on the AI point again. So, every single product you see today, most of the tech products, they're all powered by AI, correct? So, what will make Zoho's approach stand out in a crowded market like this?
So actually, see, we don't differentiate on one particular dimension. So what we have to look at is how much value we provide as a platform, the depth that we have, how we are putting all this together and providing an integrated solution. So if you look at it on a per feature basis, it's very hard to differentiate in a SaaS world, because you might have something, the competition might have something different,
That's
or
right.
plus X, minus X. So we don't differentiate only on that. What we actually differentiate on, see the depth of the products that we have. So you both be it both ManageEngine or Zoho. So we believe we are like a one-stop shop for like Zoho. ManageEngine focus on the IT management division,
That's right.
and Zoho focus on business workflows. So like if you take a business, you will have sales, marketing, HR, finance. So whatever you need to run your business, all that software is available from Zoho. Similarly, if you take IT management, whatever you need to run your IT management, be it service desk management, IT monitoring, or endpoint management, or your Active Directory management, security, so all those are available from Zoho and ManageEngine. So the bigger point being, we are not looking at it like comparing one particular feature to one particular feature. So the more bigger point would be the depth of solutions we have, and the breadth of it, how we are integrating all this together, and how much value we are providing. And also, see, we actually take a very long-term view. Being a private company with the growth having happened by internal accruals, so we don't have much of an external pressure. So we are willing to, we look at the whole thing as a marathon and not as a sprint. So what that would mean is, we really look at if some AI is coming in, we want to differentiate, is this hype or is this real? Does it add value? And if it adds value, how do we give it in a more effective way to the customer? So we are willing to look at it from a long-term perspective, do the marathon kind of a run, and provide value to the customer.
Okay, so we are in kind of a different kind of a world right now, so quite a disruptive world, I would say. So but with geopolitics, you're sort of pushing, data localization and sovereign cloud policies. So how do you develop and design a truly global SaaS business in today's world?
Okay, so see, this thing is to stay. This whole thing about data sovereignty, and every government asking the questions about how are you helping our particular countrymen, right? So towards this, we have actually, since pre-COVID itself, so we had kind of opened up offices around the globe, and in all these respective countries, we also have our data centers running there. So our SaaS software is running out of that data center.
That's right.
The data resides within that respective country, and they are compliant with the rules and regulations, compliance, privacy, security requirements of the respective country. So I believe this is the model would be going forward, where the SaaS would be run locally in each of the countries in their respective data centers, and it would be supported, it would be enhanced by employees from the respective offices. So that's how I think SaaS will evolve, and we are actually, this is something we saw coming right in 2018 and 19, and towards that we have opened like 20 different offices around the world, and close to 15% of our employees are located in different parts of the world, and in each of these we have the SaaS software running locally, and we are compliant with the laws. I think this is how this whole industry will evolve.
Okay, so customers increasingly demand integrated platforms instead of juggling
Right.
different kinds of products, right? SaaS vendors. Do you see the future moving forward with sort of all-in-one suite products, or sort of you still see there's a lot of scope for best of breed sort of specialized SaaS tools?
I will say absolutely yes, because that's
Okay.
the conviction with which we are building both
Okay.
Zoho and ManageEngine, right?
Uh-huh.
So end-to-end integrated suite of products. And now we are talking about how it will be a flexible platform. It is not just some out-of-the-box features, because every business is different. Their needs are very unique. Take what is available out of the box, but at the same time, without spending a lot of effort, how can they customize that? How flexible our platform is. So we are already thinking about that part, right? So we already have the conviction of it has to be one suite. You cannot only focus on being best of breed for one function. You have to think end to end. So we already have made a lot of progress. How can we improve on that? So that is what is driving both ManageEngine and Zoho today. So to answer your question, absolutely yes.
Okay.
So just to add additional points, I think maybe in SMBs and all that, they may want to go with the single vendor. But in bigger, like Rajesh was also alluding to that, in bigger enterprises, you might have multiple points of decision making.
That's right.
And department heads might want to go with different set of tools. So the way we are looking at it is there is a breadth, there is a depth, and there's an integration. In all these three, we kind of put in the effort so that even if somebody wants to pick the best out there, they are given an option. Or if somebody wants to go all in with Zoho, that option is also available.
Right.
So those two kinds of, I would say, axis is what is driving our development forward.
Okay, and Shailesh, Indian SaaS business is expected to become a $50 billion plus industry by 2030. And where do you see Zoho and ManageEngine in this race?
I think, see, now with AI coming in, with the geopolitical requirements coming in, I think some of these, what should I say, what do you call it? Predictions,
That's
right?
right,
Will have to be looked at more closely.
Yeah.
I'm sure, see, we are, as I said before, we are in this marathon race, so we'll surely exist then also. Hopefully, we would have grown better, bigger, and more importantly, have some, by the time AI wave, we will know how much we have kind of harnessed it. And then, so I believe like we'll be one of the, even today we are one of the largest product company out of India. And I think that would continue even going forward. But there also be newer technologies that come in, and especially this agentic thing that you talked about. So how to navigate this? Now will agentic be a very common place in the enterprise world, or it would be used in certain specific scenarios? I think it's not like it's decided yet. So there is a lot of possibilities. We are also looking at it closely. We also have launched our own agentic platform. So the idea is all of us are going in, looking at it more closely, seeing where we can apply. And the next 3-4 years is going to be very interesting times. That's the way we look at it.
Any internal targets that you've set in for Zoho Corp?
Yeah, so that is one interesting thing. We have never set targets for ourselves.
Okay.
So we know that at a sales level, there would be something, because sales needs to be motivated
That's right.
on numbers. But otherwise, what we look at it is, it's not like we have to reach this number by this time. It's like we do given our best. And I know there's a lot of other factors that we don't control. But then, it's something like this. You cannot, you cannot guarantee success. But you can put in the work, you can put in the effort so that you deserve the success. So that is the kind of thing that we work on.
Okay. So, and of just one, lots of these engineers, tech geeks, just to, before you wrap this interview there, outside of work, what's a non-tech habit or hobby that you sort of, indulge yourself in?
So you want to go first?
Oh, no, please.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of reading, not necessarily tech reading. It could be history, culture, religion, business books, whatever, because that kind of gives you a perspective, especially reading about history, right? So sometimes you feel, oh, this is some unique problem that you alone are facing, right? But then you go back and read something, you know that, okay, so it has happened before, so people have navigated this way or that way. And then you also read about some of the innovators, how did this whole industry evolve. So it helps you to put things in perspective. So I think reading a lot of things outside of tech is one thing that gives me the wherewithal to deal with what's happening in today's life.
Okay, so what do you do when you're away from work? Are you ever away from work?
Not necessarily, not really.
Okay.
Of course, it comes with some reading, if not to the levels of Shailesh. So I've never separated work and out of work, right? So I used to pursue music.
Okay.
So we had a band, and even that was part of Zoho.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I used to joke that is one other product team I was managing. Right? And in the last 4 years, my role requires me to travel about 26 weeks in a year, which is almost 2 weeks every month. So sort of that has become a habit now. So what I observed is it has opened myself to a lot of things, helped in my own evolution. So I use that opportunity to sort of take it as one of your hobbies now. That's how it has become. Yeah.
Actually, on the lighter side, even though you have left
But
the
you seem
music,
to
even though you have left the music part, you still have an epithet in my contacts. That's drummer Rajesh. That's why I saved
Not
his name.
developer, Raj.
Okay. But he seems to offer a lot of cricket analogies. I thought he could be Playing a
Oh
lot
no,
of cricket.
armchair cricketer.
No, that's by default, right?
Okay,
So you
okay.
can't say I'm a cricket fan, right? I watch cricket. So we all do all that.
That's right. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Wonderful talking to both of you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thanks a lot, Vijay. Yeah.